So let's get into NBA DraftKings. And first guy I want to talk about is Marquise Chris for the Warriors. The guy's averaging really good numbers right now, fantasy wise, and he's only 4,700. If you can pick him up because he's going to be a good steal for right now. Jeremy Grant. We were just talking about this earlier that the Denver Nuggets got guys coming off their bench averaging double doubles, averaging 20 fantasy points per game. I think he's a great steal at 4,200. Daniel Tice for the Celtics, 4,900. Another great guy. These are all big men, by the way, except Bojan Bogdanovic. He's 6,200, but I'm telling you he's worth it because I watched the game Monday night and he could not miss from three. It was a fun game to watch, and at 6,200, he's a steal. Willie Cauley-Stein, another guy, 5,000. These are the guys that if you get a couple of these guys on your roster, you're going to be able to get 2 or 3 big name players. Now, I don't think I have to go through the big name players, but if you name me 2, I'll just tell you, like James Harden, obviously one of the best players right now in the NBA for fantasy points. Luka, Giannis, pretty much MVP candidates are going to be doing good for you right now. Karl Anthony Towns, he's not playing tonight, but he's another good one that's averaging a lot of points. He had an off game against the Jazz Wednesday night, but I think he'll be doing good. Like I said, if I got to tell you about the big fantasy, if the big salary people, I probably shouldn't even be telling you about it, and you need to go play some free things first and figure it out. Because you got to get the big guys in there. Like, I know that Christian over here, he doesn't do that much of the fantasy for the basketball, but even he would know to take Willie Cauley-Stein or Luka Doncic. So, what do you think?
I just got 2 guys that I really want to discuss because you hit a lot of them on the head that are really good value picks. And mine aren't necessarily value picks, but they're just good picks based on who they're playing. And they're basically for more of the games tomorrow night, Saturday. I really like Terry Rozier against the Chicago Bulls tomorrow night for the Charlotte Hornets. I think that he really has an opportunity to excel. Chicago's been... I think they've got lucky with their 4 wins so far this season, 5 wins this season. So I think that I think Charlotte is a better team than they're putting on the floor and what their record is showing. So I think Terry Rozier, he's really surprised me so far. And I think you should throw him in the heat or in the mix for sure. And then second, I'm gonna say it, and I know we've already talked about this guy a little more, but Ja Morant. They're playing the Lakers on Saturday night, but they played the Lakers already once before, and Ja Morant went off. That entire team played really well. They did lose the game, but Ja Morant had a great game when they played at the beginning of the season. I think he was like 28, 29 fantasy points. And because they're playing the Lakers, his salary will be a little lower. So if you're playing late night Saturday night, Ja Morant's a good pickup.
All right, 2 other people I want to talk about real quick because you reminded me of one, honestly. You were talking about how the Bulls are playing, and Kobe White is a cheap point guard, and he's not bad. He's been putting up pretty good fantasy points. And I think that would be somebody that's a really good steal. And then the other one, I just completely lost. Give me just a second.
Kobe White has been the only bright side of the Chicago Bulls, in my opinion, so far. That was a good pickup for them. We were curious what was going to happen in that draft. Remember when we were discussing in the live NBA draft party if they were going to pick Garland or him or, obviously Garland went early, but what was going to happen. And then when they picked Kobe White, I remember you were a little nervous saying that, his speed was good, but who knows if he'll be a bust. But he hasn't determined that.
He almost plays like a Euro player because he plays it slow. He takes his time. He's methodical with his movements.
Yeah, and he's fast, though. Even though he plays it slow, he's got speed.
Yeah, that was my big concern about him. The other guy, and it hit me in the back of my head really quickly, was a guy we never talked about on draft night, but now he's out there and he's a starter, is Kai Bowman for the Golden State Warriors. They were starting Draymond Green at point guard when D'Lo went out, but he's been hurting too. So they've been starting Kai Bowman, and he's kind of been wishy-washy, but at the same time, he's a below average salary point guard, and he may be worth looking at as well. That was the other guy. I couldn't remember, but for some reason, as soon as you said rookies, it hit my head again.
Awesome.
But anybody else you want to talk about real quick?
No, I just enjoy some DraftKings, and like you said, if you are a little confused on it, hop in those free games and play those free games.
Absolutely.
Because that helps you out a lot. And then when the games are over, look at the first who places first against you and compare and start working some strategies, because that helps out a lot when you're comparing and who plays. Trends are life when it comes to DraftKings and FanDuel. Remember that.
And if you ever have questions, just use hashtag Tough Talk at Tough Talk, and we'll tell you what we think personally.
Yeah,
Because I know we're on there all the time.
I mean, you just posted a pretty cool video yesterday, which was pretty neat. I know a lot of people liked it about NFL pickups for the Thursday night football game. We'll be talking more DraftKings, and that worked out. We're going to do some more of that, right?
Yeah, well, Jonathan Williams, I'll just go and discuss it really quickly. I got on there yesterday. I said, hey, if you got a chance to pick up Jonathan Williams, pick him up. He's really cheap on DraftKings right now, and he's on most waiver wires. And then the guy went out there and he had a 100-yard game and a touchdown. So 19 fantasy points for your ESPN leagues is pretty darn good for a waiver wire pickup last second. So I'm going to be trying to do a couple more of those from now on, but that was one I wanted to do for Thursday since we do our shows on Fridays. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get over to On the Ice, and we're going to let Christian discuss the NHL.